Getting jiggy with it.
Brett, there are a lot of giant things in this movie. What other giant animals would you like to see in a film?
Giant doggo.
Yeah, there was a severe lack of giant dogs in this film. Or dogs in general. I don't think there was one dog.
Or vaginas. There was a severe lack of females. There was 2.
Why'd you got to bring up their genitals first, though? Why couldn't you just say women? It was International Women's Day yesterday, and you got to bring up their genitals first.
If there was a lack of men, then I would have said there was a lack of dicks, wouldn't I have? Equality.
You sure thing, mate. Sure bloody thing. Hey, welcome to the PCMR podcast where we talk about movies, TV shows, comic books, and movies and stuff that doesn't really matter, but we talk about it anyway because, hey...
We got nothing better to do.
Why the fuck not, eh?
Yeah.
This week, we are talking about the latest in the legendary Monsterverse! I
feel like Legendary are the only studio left doing monster films.
All they do is monster films. Like, what else do they do? They've got Pacific Rim. They did Great Wall. They're doing all these Monsterverse movies.
Yeah.
They like big old giant things attacking people or attacking other giant things.
Tell you what, they're doing better than the freaking Universal Monsterverse they're trying to start.
Well, that ain't going nowhere.
Because they did, what was it, Dracula Untold, which was like, apparently real bad.
And they're doing a mummy movie with Tom Cruise, which just
Russell
looks like...
Crowe, isn't it? Russell Crowe.
Yeah, it looks like Mission Impossible, but supernatural. Sure.
Yeah. Oh, got a poor sick doggo in it.
Oh no, that doesn't sound... That's a bad cough. Be better, dog. Stop being sick. What were we talking about? Let's cut that bit out. That's just depressing. I don't want to depress people. What the fuck were we talking about?
Monsters.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Universal Monsterverse. Yeah, it's kind of... yeah, no.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we haven't seen this new Mummy movie yet. You know, it could be good. I don't expect to be as fun as Brendan Frazier. Frazier.
See, it always surprises me when I remember, oh, he's actually still alive, because I just keep remembering him dying in Scrubs. And I thought that was just the death of Brendan Fraser. Like,
no,
it wasn't his character.
Brendan Fraser is still alive. Okay.
I forget that. I forget that Brendan Fraser isn't dead. But what has he done? His career is dead.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's fine.
I'm sure he's doing something.
Probably managing an IHOP somewhere.
Oh, no. Red Lobster.
Lobster.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
We're not talking about Brendan Frazier or the Universal Monsterverse. We're talking about these bigger monsters, not them human-sized ones, the big ones.
Screw them human-sized monsters right off.
Yeah. So this is the second in... Well, I didn't quite realize when I was going in that this was actually part of like a giant monsterverse. Because I'd forgot. I'd read it somewhere, but then you forget because there's so many universes to keep track of. There's the Marvels and the DCs and the Universals and the Transformers and the Wits and the Whats and the Who Nows. Who the fuck knows who is a universe or just a franchise anymore? But this one's a universe apparently, and yeah, there are some connections, and it seems like they're taking a lot of I'd say influence from Marvel, and that each different film they're doing has like a different kind of a feel and a theme, where Godzilla was very much kind of straightforward. Hey, it's a not so much straightforward as a Godzilla movie, but it's like, I guess this is an okay reintroduction to Godzilla. This is very much a pulpy 1970s kind of Vietnam War film.
Yeah, it was around that era. Well, I gotta say though, as someone who hasn't seen Godzilla, you don't need to.
No, it's not.
You don't need to.
Important, but for those that have,
I think there was one nod.
There was one nod during the film, yeah. Which for me, I was like, oh, I know what that is. But yeah, so this film, it is about a group of people, 2 scientists played by John Goodman and Corey Hawkins. They work for an organization known as Monarch, and they are looking for Skull Island.
Yes, the island in which Kong is king.
Yes,
Spoiler
some would
alert.
call him King Kong, but not in this film.
Not in this film.
No, it's just Kong.
They didn't even call him Kong that much.
No, I think once, twice.
Yeah, but maybe
3 times.
Yeah, at least 3 times.
I think about
to
3
him as
times.
Kong.
Which is there are only a couple of people who know him by that name. Most people are just like, that giant fucking thing over there.
Yeah, the big gorilla.
Mm.
I was going to say monkey, but there's differences. Equality for all.
It was a little annoying
Right.
that so many of them, is that a monkey? That's a giant monkey. It's like, come on, guys.
It's a gorilla.
You did basic,
It's a
biology studies. You know what a difference between a monkey and a gorilla. Like, come on now.
yeah. Equality for what are they all?
I'm not sure if
called?
it's even a equality
Qual-
thing.
qual-
It's more just a scientific fact.
Equality for all
Mm.
ape-like species.
Ape-like okay, yeah.
I'm sure their family has a name, but I can't remember it right now.
Sapiens.
Sapiens? Yeah, they're sapiens.
I think we're all because we're Homo sapiens, and then there are other kind of sapiens. I think
Homo.
real mature there, Mr. Equality.
I just wanted to see your face if I made a dumb joke like that.
Well, I closed my eyes and sighed. There you go. That's what happened.
I like to make weird, awkward jokes around Aiden
Mm.
just because his reactions to my terrible jokes are real funny to me.
Well, at least they're funny to someone.
Like, you know why I do them. You know that I don't think they're funny. I just like
Do I know that, Brett? I don't think I do. Otherwise, why would I keep reacting like this?
You really thought that I thought saying "ha homo" was funny?
Yes, that's what I think of you. That's how little I value.
We're opening up a lot of doors in our friendship right now, Aiden.
What a crossroads right here.
Crossroads.
Let them fight.
Dun, 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 dun.
So, Brett, what was this movie about?
A giant gorilla, not monkey,
Yes.
king of an island
Mm.
that has weird lizards living underneath it because it's hollow.
Mm.
And John Goodman and Samuel L. Jackson and Tom Hiddleston and friends came and bombed it and pissed him off.
Yeah, it's a lot of people who are used to doing genre movies in this.
I'd say a lot of big name actors too.
Yeah, it's
because
a pretty a big name cast. Like every couple of seconds, there's like, oh, this guy's in this film.
So
Oh, they're in this film.
It had Brie Larson or Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Had Tom
Soon to be.
Hiddleston, Loki.
Mm.
Had Nick Fury.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel Jackson. Had John Goodman, who's just been in a lot of things over the
He's
years.
just John Goodman.
It's got John Goodman.
He's a good man.
John C. Reilly, who was part of the Nova Corps
Mm.
in Guardians of the Galaxy. Who else? Toby Kebbell, who was in that episode of Black Mirror and was Doctor Doom
Dr. Doom
in the
in
film we don't
Fantastic.
speak of. The film we don't speak of.
Film we don't speak of. He's also, I think he also doubles. He's one of the soldiers and also Kong. So kind of mirroring
Motion capture.
his motion capture buddy Andy Serkis, who was, I think, a cook in Peter Jackson's King Kong movie, as well as playing Kong. So yeah, there you go. Yeah. I'll get into which performance I think was better from Toby
they had
Kebbell.
Eazy-E and Dr. Dre.
Easy and Dr. Dre. Yeah,
Kong.
Corey Hawkins and I've got IMDb up because I'm prepared this time.
Yeah, this time
Yeah.
for once. Yeah, but no, a lot of actors we'd seen before.
Jason Mitchell.
There we go. A lot of actors who we'd seen before.
Oh, and Shea Wiggum, who played Cole. He was what's he been in? Boardwalk Empire. That's all I know him from. Yeah.
So I feel like that's one of the biggest hooks for this movie for someone who might not be super into, big monster movies. The fact that it had so many big name actors. There's got to be at least one where you're like, that's my boy.
Mm.
And in this, I had three who were my boy. Had Tom Hiddleston, Samuel L. Jackson, and Brie Larson. Brie Larson's my boy.
Brie Larson is all of our boys.
Yes.
But this is let's get into the positives first.
Yeah,
I feel like
positives
let's get into the positives because I have
Whoa.
I have some opinions either side of positive and negative on this film. But I'll talk about the positives first. If you're looking for just a kind of a fun, pulpy action movie,
Yeah, just monsters.
this is what this movie is. Don't go into this expecting this is high art. This is lowbrow, B grade, big monster movie entertainment that's very much kind of playing into genre cliches, genre pastiches. It's very stylish. It's a very stylish film. It's very colorful. So
looks pretty.
I can definitely commend it for this is a very stylish looking film. There's a lot on display here that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and all the CG looked really, really good, I'd say.
It was pretty good CG. There was even a few moments that I think will go either way for people where it was kind of first person, very video gamey. It has a lot of video game aesthetics to it. I
Yeah,
feel, yeah.
I did not like it. Did not
Yeah, I
like it.
thought that was an interesting choice. There's a lot of kind of throwbacks to like Apocalypse Now, and they, depending on how much, if you accept like right at the start of the film, it's like, oh, this is a pulpy kind of adventure B grade kind of flick, and if you accept that, then those kind of homages and pastiches, you'd be like, oh, cool, that's a nice little nod.
See, the second that we met Tom Hiddleston, I realized that's the kind of film we're in for.
Yeah, like he did set a tone of like, okay, this is gonna be silly. Like his character wasn't silly, but like just the way he's played out, where it's like, I'm the best there is, or whereas I'm a loner, but I know all these things. It's like, okay, this is a pulpy little genre flick. And then when you get to the island, that's where all like the fun stuff is, and the action, like, it keeps going. It's very well paced. I felt like it keeps you going all the way throughout, and it's a big old adventure. I thought that was good. There's a couple of fight scenes between Kong, some people, and some monsters. Those are all good. I thought the fight scenes were very well choreographed.
The fight scenes, they varied it. He wasn't up against the same thing every time, which was really
No.
good. We got to see him against the helicopters. We got to see him against a bunch of different other monsters. Not going to spoil it, but we've already seen most of the monsters in the trailer anyway. So.
Yeah, I also felt that except for maybe like the villain things, the skull crawlers, I thought all of the animals felt like they could be real animals. They behaved like animals in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, there's a scene we see in the trailer where like there's like a giant spidery thing, and I thought that's kind of silly. That's a little bit Peter Jackson-y, but when it played out in the film, there was enough nods in it to how it would interact in that environment.
You did not like that scene though.
I hate giant bugs. It's gross.
We were introduced by that monster by the shot of a guy literally being impaled by it. And I made a bad joke of like talk about deep throating.
Nah. See, this is why I feel like that is your sense of humor. It's just, yeah. But no, like that.
That's a point.
Like the legs looked like bamboo, and I kind of really appreciated that. Like, okay, they've put some thought into the design of this creature, of like how it's very kind of.
Well, I didn't realize it was a spider at first.
I liked like all of the animals had a sense of scale to it, and I liked that there was this large kind of. Okay, I get a good kind of idea of how big these things are, and that was cool. Those are my positives. What do you have anything to add to positives?
No, I feel like it really showcases the way these monsters have evolved. They've evolved to survive in their environment because they're all that big kind of stick insect thing, but a log insect. And like you said, it kind of reacted like real animals would react. It was like, you're not doing anything to me. I'm going to walk away. So, yeah.
Oh, and I liked John C. Reilly. I thought in the trailer I was thinking I don't really like him, but in the film, contextually, I did appreciate him a bit more because he understood what kind of film he was in, and he was like having a lot of fun on screen. So I appreciated that.
Yeah.
And I felt
his character did kind of feel realistic. Like, if you've been living on that island with all those monsters around you for 28 years, I can kind of understand how you got to being that way, how you are. So, yeah, I think he did a good job. I think I've got no real problems with any of the acting, really. It was all fine.
Okay. Do you want me to get into my negatives?
Yeah, is this you disagreeing? What?
Yeah, okay. All of the characters were real flat. Like, I didn't feel like anyone truly, really emoted. Like, they were fine. Like, Brie Larson.
That's what I meant. It was fine. Like, no one was extravagantly good, but it was all fine. Like,
it was like the dialogue
is
really take it or leave it, real flat. Like, and this kind of fits into like, there's 3 categories of me for like a pulpy kind of action movie, where like there's like the really good ones that you'll remember for years to come, that have like great acting, great dialogue, and it's just a big fun pulpy adventure. Then there are the ones that are fun, and you know, the dialogue is serviceable, the acting is serviceable, but the action and the pacing keeps you going and like, okay, this is fine. And then there's the third category where it's not fun, the action's dull, and the acting is just terrible. This is the second one.
Yeah.
This isn't quite bad, but it's not like top tier film.
Yeah, I definitely say that's what
And
I
I'm
meant
not
by
even
the
trying to-
acting was fine. It's like
I'm not even trying to compare this to like what's I don't know, like an Oscar caliber film. I'm not trying to compare it to that.
God no.
In my mind, it's very kind of like Indiana Jones, kind of that kind of vibe. Indiana Jones is to me like a top tier pulpy film. It's got memorable dialogue, the acting is great, and it's real fun. This isn't quite that,
No.
but it's not the worst that I've seen of this genre. This does more. If you were a little bit disappointed by Godzilla, the 2014 film, and thought that was a bit slow, was a bit kind of, this isn't fun. I came here to see like giant monsters fight, and I don't get a lot of that. This film will satisfy you more. Like there's a lot of really good action scenes that are fun to watch. But if you're coming in like, oh, I hope there's some memorable characters and stuff, they're not very memorable. They're all very simplistic.
I honestly don't remember any of their names.
I don't remember anyone's names.
Except
no.
Chapman, because I said it about 1,000
Yeah,
times.
I remember Chapman, and he's barely a character. I just remember his name.
Yeah, one complaint I have is sometimes some of the deaths were kind of dumb.
Yeah, there's a death about, it's not halfway through. It's like near the end of the second act, start of the third act. That I didn't understand why that character made that decision. I'll get into that in spoilers, but
the birds.
No, don't fucking say anything. But like, no, but yeah, there's an end. It's end of the second act. The guy, there's a guy who makes a decision. Yeah. I didn't I didn't understand that at all. I didn't see like, oh, is that where this character was heading? I didn't see that at all. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand that character. While I still enjoyed it, overall, I feel like there's all of the characters super flat, and I didn't like engage with any of them as people. They were more just like, oh yeah, there's this kind of a character, there's that kind of a character.
They all felt disposable. None of their deaths felt impactful.
No.
Even when some people who were mainish characters until that point, when they died, it didn't really affect anyone. They didn't care. It didn't halt their progress.
No one, like, there was barely any moments of people being like, oh no, this person's dead. It was just kind of like, oh no, they're dead. Oh, we gotta keep going. So yeah, none of the deaths really had any emotional resonance. None of the characters really left a big impression. The only impression they really leave is like, wow, man, Tom Hiddleston's looking good. He looks like he's he's probably having a fun time being I'm a cool SAS officer. Look at me, I'm super
like,
cool.
Oh, Brie Larson's still real pretty. Even though
Yeah, I'm like, well, I'm still real looking forward to Captain Marvel. You haven't dissuaded me there. There's one scene where she's like trying to lift up a helicopter, and I was like, oh, she can do it. She's Captain Marvel. She can fucking do it.
That's what I was thinking too. Hey, look at Captain Marvel, and then you realize, wait, she's just she's just Brie Larson in this.
But no,
I can't remember her name for the life of me in this film.
Yeah, I just read it. Hold on, I've got IMDb up. Mason Weaver.
Did they even say her name once?
Yeah, they did. Like right at the start, they're like, "Oh, I thought Mason Weaver would be a dude." Like that classic kind of. Whenever there's a woman in these kind of pulpy films who's in like, "I'm in a man's world," they're like, "Oh, I thought you would be a man." No, I am Mason Weaver, lady photographer.
Yeah. Which was, I feel
Photographs.
like, realistic for the time period, because in the late 70s, that's when the whole real feminist movement was happening, where women could start doing these kind of things, and women were strong and powerful.
Different phases of feminist movements, like, you don't want to discredit all the people.
Oh, no, but, like, the original feminist movement, because, like, in the 70s, when the really came to a head, like, really, like, they started burning your bras, that kind of
you got to give credit to those who got the vote. Like, that's like 1910.
Oh, yeah.
Like, those girls were hardcore. Those women were hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the big heads of the feminist movement. That's maybe a better way to put
waves.
it.
Yeah. But yeah, she's
one of the bigger waves of the feminist movement was around here. So it makes sense for that time period. They had a strong woman like that. It's like, yeah, I'm doing what I want.
I had no problem with like where the characters were placed or like who was playing them. It was more just that they were written real flat and a lot of their dialogue was real flat. Yeah. Like for some of them, I could kind of understand the character. Like Samuel L. Jackson, I thought had an okay character arc. Like I could get that for him, they were very much going for like an apocalypse now, kind of like lost in the madness of war thing. But it wasn't it never like emotionally resonated for me. I could just see like I can see what you're going for here, and you've got some cool imagery.
Yeah.
But I never felt like, oh wow, what an emotional character. I was just like, okay, cool.
Yeah, he was kind of like, I don't want to say one note, but his motivations were very similar to the whole thing.
Yeah, which, it's. I think another thing we haven't talked about a lot is that the film feels very inconsequential. It feels like a better than average episode of a TV series.
Yeah, it's like not much impactful happens by the end of
No,
it.
this doesn't feel like you're hearing like the whole King Kong story. This is just like these people have walked through and like Kong is having, hey, here's some things that I do, and then he walks off. Like this isn't like, say what you will about the Peter Jackson King Kong movie. That felt like very definitive.
Yeah,
like,
something happened.
Yeah, it felt very definitive in that chapter of that character's history. This feels like, remember that time this thing happened? Yeah, that was no good.
It's like that old film school saying, like, is this the most interesting thing that's ever happened in this person's life? No? Then why aren't you showing me that?
Yeah.
And while for all these humans, yeah, that's the most interesting thing that's ever happened in their life, but probably not the most interesting thing that's ever happened in Kong's life.
No, and I'd be okay with it if like next week I got another episode of this MonsterVerse thing, but I have to wait until 2019, so I'm a little bit kind of... I feel like that's why Marvel can get away with this more than the others can, is because
they're pumping out
there's a TV show, and then there's another movie, and then there's a Netflix series, so there's always something around the corner where like I always feel like the story is moving forward. Well, like these other things, like because they don't have like the money and the roster of characters to be like, okay, well, there's this, we're going to do 2 of these a year, or even the interest, like there's not that much interest for these kind of big monster movies. There's enough to get like one every 2 years, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, for like someone who's like, okay, I kind of like it, but I want to see more, and I have to wait. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, well, you haven't really told me a full story. It's an episode. It's not a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Falling. The very terrible microphone stand.
But I think overall, before we get into spoilers, I was never bored throughout the movie.
No, I feel like the action sequences were what stood out the most. Because like the story, yeah, it just kind of happened, but
pretty decent action sequences. None of the characters were super dumb, so that was at least that. Like they were flat and kind of boring. But none of them, I was never like, what are you doing that for? That's a dumb decision.
Yeah, you could understand
I never had that
their
moment.
reasoning for their actions at any
There
point.
were forgettable characters, like we haven't talked about Tian Jing, who's like the Asian lady.
What was her job even?
She was a geologist, I think, in the film. Anyway, she's just...
To me, she was kind of there.
Yeah, she didn't affect the film at all. She's just kind of there. Like, the only reason she's there, I feel like, is so we can market this to the Chinese audience.
Like, hey,
diversity. Hey, that's that pop star we know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she has to be like a... I feel like she's probably a pop star.
Maybe
in
she
Asia.
was
like all of these like big Asian stars. They like even Jet Li and stuff. They all have pop careers as well.
Wow.
Yeah, Jet Li sings a lot of songs and stuff. Even Jackie Chan, he has a pop career. Donnie Yen, pop career.
So I think I knew that Jackie Chan had a pop career. I think I knew that. But
Donnie Yen definitely has like a couple of albums in like Mandarin kind of folky pop songs.
There you go.
That's what all these people do, man. They're triple threats over there. They can act, they can sing, and they can do martial arts. Or dance as well, I guess. Yeah.
Well, if you really get down to it,
it is pretty much
difference
dancing.
between martial
There's not
arts
much
and dancing.
difference. No.
Like I feel
especially in the cinematic version of like
I feel like you could say that if you can do martial arts, you can dance. Like not the other way around.
No, but it's very much. You could fake it in a movie. I'd say
the cinema type of martial art. If you can do that
very
type
much
of martial
kind
arts,
of like
you can
it's
dance.
all choreographed. There's a lot of choreography involved, and it's all about being able to control.
Like real martial arts, I wouldn't say, but cinema martial arts. If you can do that, you can probably dance.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's also like an interest because it's all about movement and control of your body.
Yeah.
And very specific action. So and
it's very stylish.
There'd be that crossover interest of like, oh, okay, well, this is like learning a choreography thing. If I put it to a beat, It's basically a dance now.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Yeah. No, yeah. But yeah, she's barely a character in this movie. She's just there so people can be like, hey, I know you. You were in this other thing that I've seen. Or you sang this song that I like. Ni hao.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And there was a bunch of disposable soldiers.
A lot of disposable soldiers. See, it's a very... If you're coming in here for human characters, they're boring. Don't come here for that.
No, I
If
don't
you're
think
coming in
anyone
here...
is, though, because I feel like the filmmakers kind of knew what we were there for. We weren't really there for a big, great story. We weren't there for fantastic acting and character development. We were there for big, dumb monster fights.
Yeah. The guy who directed is Jordan Vogt-Roberts. He's done... He's taken the same route that a lot of these people have done, where he's done a lot of, like, indie films, but this is, like, his first big...
Oh, this is his first big one.
Yeah. Oh, he directed... Did you ever see Nick Offerman's stand-up in 2014?
Oh, yeah, he did a stand-up special.
Yeah, he
100%.
directed that special.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is, like, his first kind of big blockbuster thing, but he's done kind of smaller indie things around, so he's kind of like how Gareth Edwards hadn't done a big budget thing, but he'd done like a small monster movie, so they gave him Godzilla, and then he got Rogue One. Mark Webb, he did 500 Days of Summer, then he got the Spider-Man movies. Whoever this guy who's directing the next Spider-Man film, he did like a couple of indie films, now he's got Spider-Man. There's a lot of people coming up like that. That seems to be the thing in Hollywood now. Like, you do a couple indie films, then you get a big tentpole thing.
Yeah.
They chuck you in the deep end and see how you go. And
Yeah.
some fail, like your Josh Tranks. He ain't coming back.
Chronicle's great, but then he ruined it all.
Yeah, no. I feel like he might be able to revive himself if he comes back,
Just
self-funds like a big,
get back
like
in
a
the
good
indie
indie
market.
film. Maybe he could revive himself, but yeah, he's not coming back. This guy, he'll survive. Like, this is...
Yeah, he did all right.
This will be fine. I'm not sure if this is going to be
But
a
again,
big...
he did have a pretty big job because, he had a lot of big actors to work with. A lot of very experienced actors, well-known actors.
And he can't take too many risks with this film. This is a very safe film because
Yeah.
he can't kill off Kong because there's obviously a Godzilla versus King Kong movie coming up. But he can't wound him too much as well. But he can throw a few things at him, batter him around a bit.
Yeah. Well, they injured him pretty bad with, like, the whole napalm thing. But then, 5 minutes later, he was okay.
Yeah, because it's a very safe film. It's a little bit sanitized, I'd say. But the good things are that the stylistic choices that they make are pretty cool. The fights, for what they are, they're pretty good. And there are a few moments between Kong and Samuel L. Jackson that are
pretty badass
in a very kind of funny, pulpy way. So if you're looking for like a pulpy, large, like a monster movie, this should scratch that itch. So yeah, for that crowd, I think this will do well. For those looking for a serious movie, wait for the next one.
Yeah.
This isn't for you.
One thing I kind of noticed, though, is the lack of blood. That's something I pay attention to. When people died, there wasn't, like, blood splattered everywhere. Like,
no,
like
if this had been like an MA movie and they'd allowed to go for the gore, I feel like it would have added a little bit, like a bit more of a punch to it. But at the same time, it didn't really need it. Like, I still had enough fun to be like, oh, cool. Sure.
It's just one thing I pay attention to. Like, is that a realistic amount of blood? And like, I can, if it was the opposite end and there was just far too much blood, I'd be saying that
That's
too.
an unreal, yeah.
Like, that's an unrealistic amount of blood for that body. Yeah.
Mm.
You know, in this film, I feel like it had an unrealistically small amount of blood when they died.
But I give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, that's 6
because it's better than average, but just.
Yeah.
So
I was maybe even leaning to more of a 5.5 because I had a good time, but I wasn't.
I'm not.
I don't want to see it again. Like, even if it came to Netflix, I've seen it.
I might watch it again on Netflix. Like, I might get drunk and watch it again on Netflix.
Maybe.
Especially if it's on Netflix and it's before like the next Godzilla movie, I might watch it because there's enough there that's fun.
Yeah.
That I feel like in a couple of years
maybe if we can just do a supercut of all the action.
Because I felt kind of similar about Pacific Rim when I saw it, but I got like pretty drunk the other day and watched Pacific Rim, and it's a fun movie. Like, it's dumb, but it's a fun movie and it gives you exactly what you want, like straight up. So I feel like it might sit in that kind of realm in my mind. Yeah.
True. I haven't
Yeah.
seen Pacific Rim still. Oh, so many films I need to see.
Oh, it's fun. Like watch it on like a big TV. Get some good sound. Get a little bit plastered.
A little bit plastered.
Have some good snacks. You'll have yourself a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, you want to get into some spoilers?
Yeah, let's get into some spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, if anything that we've said has intrigued you, go and see it. If you don't care and you just want to hear more details because, I don't know, you morbid curiosity, stick around. If you've seen it, stick around. Let's talk spoilers.
Now,
so
let's talk about that one death you were talking about at the end of Act 2. Is that John Goodman's death?
Not John Goodman's death. This is when Cole, the guy who's like the silent guy who's like... when he was talking... The guy who's talking to Eazy-E, what's his... actor's name.
No, I know who you're talking about now. The one who's like real just weird the whole film. It's weird.
Like there's a moment where like they're running away from like the lizard and he just decides to turn around and pulls like some grenades like, no, you guys go on, I'm gonna stop it. And I'm just like, when did you indicate that you were the kind that would sacrifice your life? He had so many weird lines in the movie, I could not get a read on him. It's like, what the fuck is your deal, man?
I couldn't understand his character at all. Like, that's one thing I'll say. For most characters, I could understand them. I really couldn't understand this dude.
Yeah, like...
His motivations weren't clear.
They were going for, like... They wanted to hit these certain kind of Vietnam War film cliches, like Apocalypse Now, Platoon, and other things. There was a bunch of, like... This film would not exist without, like, all of the influences that it takes from. Like, it's cribbing a lot of notes. And in some places that works. Like, there's a lot of scenes where, like, Samuel L. Jackson will stare down Kong, and that's like, this is very Apocalypse Now. This is kind of badass. I don't know if the theater was a bit louder, and if I was a bit drunker, and I was like closer to the screen, I feel like I would have liked to have seen this on IMAX. Like, if I was a bit more enveloped by the screen, I would have felt a bit more like, whoa. But I don't know, the screen felt kind of small, so it didn't quite feel like. Sometimes they're okay in the Walker Cinemas, but this was one of the lesser ones. It just felt kind of, I guess so. So I feel like that experience, like maybe if I'm watching it at home and I can sit closer to my TV, I can look up at it a bit more, because watching Pacific Rim on my TV was big enough that I was like,
your TV's pretty great.
It's pretty good TV.
Cause we were there last night playing Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, it looked real good on that.
Yeah, then I brought it home and played it on my TV. I'm like, my TV it's good, but it's a few years old, so it's not as good as yours.
Not quite the same,
Yours is pristine. Mine was just like, it's good. It's like, I feel it's like the difference between like 1080p and like 4K.
Yeah.
I mean, I know yours isn't a 4K TV.
No, but it's 55.
I feel like that's the difference.
It's like a full HD kind of smart TV, so it's pretty good.
It was a point of difference where like my TV it still looked beautiful, but like yours is just a little bit more beautiful.
I'm pretty happy with my TV. Yeah. Let's talk about some of those Godzilla references. So, John Goodman's character, if I can bring up his name right now, IMDb, his name is Bill Randa.
Oh.
Sure, whatever.
Okay.
Don't remember that at all.
No.
But he was on the boat in 1954 that was attacked by Godzilla, and that's his connection. That's like early on. There's that Godzilla connection, and then there's a post-credit scene where they go back to Monarch, which is mentioned, I think, in Godzilla. The 2014 one was an organization that was present in that. It's present here, and that's who John Goodman and Corey Hawkins' character, whose name is... Hold on. Houston?
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Why not?
Yeah, and Tom Hiddleston's character and Brie Larson, they go back to Monarch, and they're like, we're not going to talk about the Skull Island or Kong. Why are you keeping us here? And they're like, welcome to Monarch. This shit's bigger than you know. And they put on a little... what do you call it?
Slideshow?
Slideshow, yeah. And they show off, like, here's a picture of Godzilla, and then Mothra, Rodan, King Ghidorah, and then it ends with a big old Godzilla roar. And for me, being like, I have secondhand Godzilla enthusiasm from Matt Frank. Shout out to Matt Frank.
Come on the podcast.
Yeah, sure. I'm just going to get IDW's artist for Godzilla on this podcast. Everybody.
We can dream.
We can dream. But yeah, he's a big old Godzilla fan, and I have secondhand enthusiasm from him. Also, I watched, those are all like characters that feature in Godzilla Final Wars, which in my opinion is the best Godzilla film because it's the dumbest and the silliest and the most kind of just pulpy and out there.
I think
Maybe
we watched that together, and I fell asleep 3/4 of the way through. Not because it was a
Yes.
bad movie, just because it was late. And we'd
it
have
was like 2 in the morning.
yeah, it was late. We'd had a super long weekend. 'Cause that
Yeah,
was the
we
end
already
of
watched like Bad Boys 2 and something else before that, and then
Yeah,
I
it
put
was-
it on. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a long weekend. We were both
Mm.
tired. And we're like, yeah, I'll watch one more. But I kind of fell asleep halfway through. I think I was like covered in Dorito dust and Tim Tams all over my fingers. Well, we were obviously drunk.
Yeah.
We weren't sober.
No. But yeah, that was fun. So that was
It's
kind of like,
aliens,
this is
isn't it?
cool.
It's aliens. I remember it was aliens.
And that was kind of part of that, like, hey, there's a TV show. Where's the next episode? Kind of thing coming in from me. I'm like, I just want to see another Godzilla film. I want to see more of this.
Give me more.
Give me more. That's why I feel like I'm a bit more positive, because I'm like, this is fine, and it's cribbing a lot from Marvel of like, hey, we're setting up these little details, and like, there's enough here that it's like it's sort of its own film.
Yeah. Like, it's setting up a universe better than some other universes have.
It's
Not to name names.
like it's saved. Like, it's not quite doing, like, it put that like slideshow. If that slideshow had been in the movie, I probably would have been like, really.
Yeah, it would have been like the
Kinda dumb.
lame thing like in Batman v Superman. Where like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's
got
like,
an
here's
email,
I'm
file.
got an email with it's a Wonder Woman and an Aquaman, and that was dumb. But here, because it's a coda at the end for people who stay through the credits, who either were like weird enough to think like maybe there's a thing at the end of credits, or cared enough, or like me looked it up. It's like, is there a thing? There's a thing. I'm sitting down. So
Yeah.
yeah. So you save that for them, but putting it in a movie would have been a bit weird. The only thing they needed in the movie was John Goodman's motivation of like, I know monsters exist because I was on a ship in 1954 that was attacked by Godzilla. Didn't say Godzilla by name, so there wasn't that like immediate connection in the film, but like there was enough there that like, yeah, I like this. What are some other spoilery things can we talk about?
I don't know.
There's not a lot to spoil
Yeah.
in the film. Like they get
Like,
to
there's
the island.
characters who die, obviously. Like, John Goodman
John
died.
Goodman dies. He gets eaten by a skull crawler, whatever
Yeah.
they're called. I didn't mind the design, but it didn't look like a thing that would exist.
Yeah, it didn't look real.
I didn't quite understand. Like all of the other creatures, I could understand. Like Kong, I understood. Of like, okay,
It was an
Big gorilla.
Overgrown gorilla.
yeah, and there was like a giant kind of buffalo thing, which is like, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
giant
I get
buffalo.
that.
Giant spider, just a giant spider.
spider thing,
Giant
I
stick
kinda got that.
insect. Giant stick insect.
The weird knifey bird bat things.
Yeah, they kind of just looked a bit like
They're just-
small pterodactyls.
Yeah, they just seemed like weird little dinosaurs. They were okay. But yeah, it's just a lot of just cool designs, but some of them didn't quite like. I don't understand how that could be a creature, like especially because it's like a snake, but it's got
Yeah.
2 legs.
Yeah, and did you see how like when it opens its mouth, its teeth are just
Yeah.
kind of everywhere, and they
Yeah,
kind of
teeth
point
everywhere.
inwards as well. They
Mm.
don't point up or out like most creatures. It literally points in towards
I've
their
seen
tongue and
creatures
mouth.
like that. It's more the 2-leg design that I felt, and the weird outer kind of cubone thing where it's like a skull on the outside, which is more like a
Yeah.
beak, really.
Yeah.
It was very reminiscent of like a bird.
Oh, what about how the tongue did the
Mm.
alien thing where it kind of splits out into multiple?
Yeah, that was kind of weird. Yeah, I didn't quite understand the physiology there of why a creature like that would exist. Like I've already suspended my disbelief of like, well, creatures this size would obviously buckle under their own weight. I've thrown that out the window. That's fine. But I still have to understand, like, how does this creature eat? What is it doing? What is its purpose? Why would it exist? And I didn't quite get it for the skull
Yeah.
crawlers. So that was a bit like, okay, weird.
Yeah, and they live like they even said they generally live underground. They don't really come up, and if they do, Kong kills them.
Mm.
Like, what are they eating underground?
I'm sure there's other monsters and weird things on the ground. Since this is obviously kind of a hollow Earth theory where there's like giant monsters under the Earth. Sure,
As good an explanation as any.
sure, why not? In this universe, sure.
Yeah, they've just kind of lived there for millions of years.
I liked the music, but it didn't. It felt very much like hey, it's the 70s. Don't forget, and it did feel a little Suicide Squad where it's just kind of thrown in but they tried to do
Yeah,
it
they
a
kind
little.
of throw happy
They
music
tried
in.
to do it a little better by being like, "Hey, this is just the music that these guys are listening to. They're playing records." And
But it
it's
was
like
kind of
we're
ridiculous.
doing it like Guardians, but it's like it's still a little just kind of mishmash thrown in there.
It was really ridiculous at some point. So like when they're in the helicopters and they literally start,
Playing
they have a
Parrot.
sound system in the helicopter.
That's very much like a throwback to kind of Apocalypse Now. Like they
Yeah.
do shit like that, but it was a little. Honestly, I don't mind that so much. Like I've seen that in Vietnam.
I don't mind it. It was ridiculous, but I don't mind it.
I've seen that in Vietnam War movies before, where like they'd have sound systems in the helicopters and they'd blast like fucking music. So that was fine for me. It was more just like the music choices, kind of like, yeah, we get it. It's a 70s Vietnam film. You gotta have your rocking soundtracks.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool
they
thing,
had
bruh.
Bowie in
Yeah.
it at one point showing John C. Reilly, and he's like, "Oh, I don't like it." Like, screw you.
fine.
He was a treasure.
There's a lot of like nods and jokes in there that are very much kind of like they only make sense as jokes in the context of it being 2017, 2016. Because it's like, yeah, Washington's never going to be this crazy again. Yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
Donald Trump's a thing. Do the Cubs ever win the World Series? Oh, no. Yeah, we get it. They won it in 2016. Cool, bruh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, God forbid anyone be from Australia like us and not have any connection with that kind of stuff, because a lot of Australians don't. They'd be like, I don't know, do the Cubs win the World Series? I don't know.
The fuck's the World Series? Who are the Cubs?
Yeah. I mean, like, we consume enough media that we're familiar.
I'm aware enough.
We are children of the internet.
The baseball with the bats and the
It
whatnot.
was trending when it happened.
Mm.
If it trended, us as millennials, we know.
Yeah. That's
So
there's a lot of
Because if you want millennials to know something, just make it trend.
mm.
Sad, but true.
Also, I think I mentioned it to you that the beach that John C. Reilly crashes on
yeah.
right at the start, I'm fairly certain that's the same like beach where they shot at least some scenes for Wonder Woman, because it looks very similar.
Yeah. Don't they have that, like, one beach in America where all the boy bands film their film clips?
Yeah, somewhere in like California somewhere. Yeah.
Like, I think it was, like, One Direction did a video there, and I think, like, both Backstreet Boys and NSYNC did a film clip on the same beach.
Probably.
The boy band beach.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's very it's just got a lot of influences from a bunch of different things. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
The more I think about it, the less I'm like, Like, I had fun watching it. I definitely had fun watching it.
it's exciting when the action starts. And it's like, again, they knew what we were all there for. So they didn't really waste their time more than they needed to getting into it.
No.
So it just got into it and gave us what they wanted. We wanted.
There's not much else to talk about, really, spoiler-wise. Like,
Yeah, because it wasn't that deep of a story. So
no.
because when we want to go into the spoiler, that's when we go into like the late
deep.
plot
What
points,
do
the
this
tweets.
mean? Like, no, there's no character dynamic that I can remember. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's nothing deeper than what's put in front of you.
No, the only thing that like you can talk about really in spoilers is like, hey, these are some of the Godzilla connections, and that's it.
Yeah, that's about it. Like, there's
Oh.
nothing deeper. There's no like analyzing the context of their relationship.
Do you have a favorite moment?
Favorite moment was probably when the end of the final fight with the big skull claw, where he just rips the tongue out and all its guts come out. That was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. I think
I cringed a bit because it was kind of gross, but I liked it.
probably when they first encounter Kong and he's like smashing up all those helicopters. That's probably my favorite moment.
Yeah.
Least favorite moment.
Least favorite moment.
Yeah. Worst moment for you.
Ooh, worst moment. Probably the whole thing where the confrontation finally came to a head with Nick Fury, and they're like, "Oh, we want to go find the guy." And, "Oh no, we want to go to the boat." That was a bit like, I felt it was a bit too long. That's just me.
For me, it's that Cole's death. Like, it felt dumb. It felt meaningless, and it was meaningless because he doesn't get eaten by the creature. It doesn't save him anyway. The creature knocks him away. It's a pointless.
Yeah,
death.
I kind of laughed a little when he got hit into the mountain. Like, it was a cool shot watching him get hit into the mountain and explode.
But I just felt like his character made no goddamn sense to me.
Yeah,
I was very confused by him. Like, there's a few moments where they're trying to add in, like, oh, this is
some deep meaning about war. They have a lot of quotes about like, oh, this is what soldiers do. Soldiers never really come back from war.
Oh yeah,
It's
all
like,
that
we
stereotype.
only create the enemies that we go and face and stuff like. If that was in another movie, like another Vietnam movie, I'd be like, cool dialogue,
Yeah,
bruh.
it's just
But here it just felt hokey and
they shoehorned in all the
it
war
felt like
is hell
set
shit.
dressing. It didn't feel like actual dialogue. It felt like, hey man, this is the 1970s and they're Vietnam soldiers. Here's some set dressing of some things Vietnam vets might say at the time. So
Yeah, a lot of like cliche war sayings kind of shoehorned in.
yeah, it's
Like the whole war is hell. We never come home from war.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a very cliche movie.
yeah, for the most part, I'd
Yeah.
say that. Yeah,
Can I bump my thing down to a 5.5? Like,
yeah,
yeah.
So you're bumping down to what I
Yeah,
gave it,
the more I
5.5.
think about it, I'm like, man, this movie was silly.
Yeah, the
I
more
had
you
fun-
think about it,
I had fun watching it,
at
but
the same time, you're not meant to think that much about a
No,
movie like
no,
this.
no.
We're podcasters like, we got another 10 minutes to fill. What can we talk about?
exactly. So if you go see it, don't think about it too much. See it with your friends, have some fun, and then immediately think about something else.
Yeah, just
That's what this movie. It's disposable.
Go-
It's very disposable.
go have a beer. Go to the pub.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's
we
go on
can
some
wrap this up.
recommendations.
Oh yeah, recommendations. Almost forgot.
What you been up to?
Well, I finished Final Fantasy 15. By finished, I mean I played it 40 hours since it finished. Then I got my platinum trophy.
Yay,
Once
well
I-
done.
Once I got my platinum trophy, I'm like, I still got some dungeons, but I'm done.
Yeah.
So I bought Horizon Zero Dawn, as I mentioned before, and it's
Mhm.
real pretty. Has some real good acting.
I played
And the
a
story.
couple of minutes of that. I liked it so
Yeah,
far.
and the story is really captivating.
I only got through the tutorial, and there's a few kind of hokey dialogue moments, and the father figure character is weirdly smiling all the time, which creeped me out a little bit. But
Oh, what? See, the first bit when she's a child is a bit weird, but once the montage happens and she's a teenager, it's better.
No, but I'm thinking I'm gonna play that. Like, there was
Yeah.
enough there that I was like, okay, cool.
The combat system was like, there was parts of it that was unique. Like, parts of it is very, oh, you got a bow and you got a spear, but then there's also parts of like the scanning and the weakness point and the crafting system. That's pretty, yeah.
You've played some of these tropes before. Who's that?
I think it's one of the kids from the neighborhood with scooter. They go up and down driveways.
Why?
Scooters.
Fucking scooter kids, man. Get out of here. Exactly. You're right, Dobby.
Ugh. Better go stop him. We can edit this little bit out. Dobby! He doesn't like seeing people like that.
Yeah, me neither.
Come on, buddy. Look, no one's there. Or just spill the water everywhere. That's fine too. Okay, buddy. Dobby. Dobby, no one's there. No one's there. Dobby. Okay, I got him in my lap and he's calm. Ish. So yeah, back to where we were. Horizon Zero Dawn. Zero Dawn.
Zero Zone, yeah.
Yeah.
Zero Dawn.
Yep, got some so far real pretty. Got some great acting. Unique-ish combat system. Having fun.
Cool.
What about you?
I haven't done a lot. I watched Pacific Rim again. I enjoyed it. I played the tutorial bit for Horizon Zero Dawn. I like that. I like the atmosphere. The game looks good.
Oh yeah.
Not much else. I watched an episode of The Flash today. It was.
Oh yeah.
It's still going along.
It's still happening.
Yeah. I've become less and less interested in the CW verse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been feeling burnt out ever since the mid-season it came back.
Yeah.
I've been constantly falling behind. Like, when I watch it, I enjoy it.
Yeah, when I watch it, I'm like, cool, but it's just they're making the same decisions over and over and over again. It's just kind of like, I think the only one that's kind of interesting me is Arrow at the moment.
Yeah?
Like, yeah, Legends of Tomorrow has become a kind of chore. I enjoy it while I'm watching it because it's pulpy and kind of fun. But it's the same kind of like, oh, zooba-dooba-doo,
I
yeah.
fucking hate the opening monologue for Legends of Tomorrow. Please, don't call us heroes. We're something else. We're legends.
Yeah,
No! Fucking kill yourself!
Trigger warning.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
No, it's I'm getting sick of all their little intro things. That's what I like the Netflix stuff because none of it has
no
like
lame hokey intros.
I had to become something else. I had to become Daredevil.
Yeah, no, it doesn't need that.
Science did something to me. Now I'm something else. I'm Luke motherfucking Cage, motherfucker.
Okay, I could go for that. I could go for Luke Cage's.
Luke Cage running down the fools on the street. It's dancing time, honky. Wapa, whoopee.
You should just make the theme song for it.
It'd basically just be Black Dynamite, but man, I want to watch Black Dynamite. Have you seen Black Dynamite?
No.
Boy, we need to get drunk and watch Black Dynamite. That movie is amazing. It's a good time. If you like Luke Cage, but you wanted it to be even sillier, Black
exactly
Dynamite.
What I wanted from Luke Cage.
Yeah, Black Dynamite. All right, yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Like, since the mid-season premiere, the CW shows have started to be a little bit of a chore to me.
I keep meaning to go back to Legion as well. I really like the first episode, but I haven't gone back and watched any more of it
I'm
yet.
waiting because I feel like I want to... Like, both it and The 100 right now, I'm like, I know that they're happening, and I know I want to watch them, but I'm like, I'm going to wait. Because last season of The 100, I waited till the end and binge watched it all, and I feel like that's the best way to watch a show like that. And I feel like it would probably be the best way to watch shows like The Flash and Arrow as well.
Probably. I've never done the binge on them. It's always been... I've watched them
See,
as
I
they
got
were
into
happening.
them, like, 2015, so
Yeah.
binged decent amount of
Fair,
them at
fair.
once.
Is it a different experience binging it, like watching episode after episode?
I feel like it's different because when it's week for week, it feels real slow with all the filler and all. It's a lot of episodes.
It's a lot of episodes, yeah.
Like, I feel like they can cut it down. I feel like they need to cut it down. Their seasons need to be smaller. That's why I get burnt out on them, just because just so much, just week after week, the same stuff, you know?
Yeah, I feel that. Oh, also, Netflix are doing like a comedy special every week now. So I've been watching, like, I watched Mike Birbiglia's one, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
I watched Amy Schumer's one that just came out. It's, I don't know, I wasn't half paying attention. It's okay. It's a lot of her talking about dudes coming on her tits. So it's like, cool, Amy.
Yeah,
cool jokes.
I'm undecided on how much I like Amy Schumer, so I haven't watched
I don't think
it
I
yet.
hate her as much as other people do, because some people seem to really fucking hate her, and I don't just care.
Yeah.
She's just like, oh yeah, she's a comedian. Some of her jokes are cool. I don't find a lot of her timing too great for me personally. So it's for me, I don't feel like this is my opinion. This opinion is fact. It's more like, personally, I don't find it that funny.
I want more black comedians because black comedians are probably my favorite.
Dude, motherfucking Dave Chappelle. 2 specials coming up in like the next couple of weeks on Netflix. Yes.
Damn. Well, I watched Michael Che Matters.
Is it Che or Chi?
Che.
I think it's Che.
Che. I think it is Che, but I keep saying Chi. You know, I watched it and it's real good. He's real funny.
He's
real
real
good. Heard
good.
of him, but he was real funny.
I think he's one of the cast members on SNL.
Probably most of them are.
Yeah.
Most comedians are at some point. They're either a writer or cast member on SNL.
Yeah, true. So next week we've got a whole bunch of news to talk about because we've missed a whole bunch. We've got that Guardians trailer. We've got another trailer, I think, for Ghost in the Shell. We've got some other trailers.
We got a bunch of casting news and stuff.
We've got some casting news for Inhumans. We've got some set photos from Thor Ragnarok.
We actually got a set photo from Inhumans too.
Oh yeah, the Black Bolt, Anson Mount, all decked out.
And one
and
Lockjaw.
Lockjaw. Yeah, like the big old blue stand-in, which
Yeah.
I'm glad because when I heard we're making an Inhuman show, I was like, "Where's my big
Lockjaw.
old doggo?
Yeah.
Where's my puppa?
Give me my teleporting doggo, mate.
Tell a puppa,
Telepopper. Yes.
doggo porter,
Doggo Potter.
dog port me away."
Yes, take me to the stars, doggo.
Have you read any of like the Inhuman stuff with Black Bolt, or do you know anything about him?
Oh, I know about them. I feel like...
How do you feel about his mask? What do you think they should do with that? Because
I
the set
feel like-
photo,
Yeah, he didn't have it.
he didn't have the mask. I'm
No,
thinking,
I think they need to have it because that's the Black Bolt's defining feature.
I would be happy if it was just a crown with the tuning fork.
Yeah, I could go
I feel
with
like
that.
that's what they should go for. Like that for me will be like if he's sitting on like a throne room, he's got the crown of the tuning fork. Because the tuning fork's an important part of like his costume. So I feel like that's an important thing that they should add. I don't necessarily need the mask because I can understand like why the fuck would he wear a mask? That contextually it doesn't make sense. In a comic book universe, everyone's wearing a mask. Sure.
Yeah, there's not many mask heroes. The only real mask hero we have is Daredevil. It's clearly like, oh, I have a life. I don't, you know.
Yeah, it's one of the few. It's like I can't afford rent. Like it's him and Spider-Man. Like rent is hard to come by, and I have people I care about. Everyone else, I'm like, I'm Tony motherfucking Stark, bitch. I don't care who knows my name. I'm Iron Man.
Yeah.
Pow.
And Iron Man 3, he literally gives his address to a terrorist.
Fight me, bitch.
Come the fuck at me, bro. The one movie where none of his suits work. But
And Captain America, he wears a mask, but it's like a helmet thing, and it's just kind of like, yeah, I wear it because it's a symbol, and I'm, it's part of my costume, and I kind of like it. I got used to it. For everyone else, Thor is just like, I am from Asgard. What do I care if you people know who I am?
yeah, I
You
live
already
in
know,
another
I
realm.
say what my name is. I am Thor. Here I am.
I
Like,
am from another realm,
Yeah.
mortals.
mm.
I really want him to get his helmet, though, with the wings.
Yeah, I'm hoping for some helmet action in
Yeah.
Ragnarok.
Well, they keep saying that he might have a different hammer in the next film just from a glimpse of like the corner of the hammer from one of the photos.
So we've got a lot of shit to talk about next week.
Yeah.
And then the week after that, Iron Fist, which we're tentatively waiting for. The reviews are coming in and they are mixed. So we will have our own opinion
When
because
it comes out.
we're Marvel bitches, but we'll see how far that carries us.
Yeah.
We'll see if the show lets us continue to be like, praise Marvel, praise!
Oh, yes,
Or if
praise be to Feige. Praise be to Feige.
Or if they finally fuck up enough for us to go like, nah. Because it's gotta happen one day. It's gonna happen. Like one of these movies, like for other people that's already happened, they're like, man, fuck Age of Ultron, fuck For the Dark World. But for me, it's not happened yet. I'm still like, woo!
Yeah, at least those two were still like both over the 5 mark for me. 5 out of 10. They're both over that.
They were both fun enough for me to be like, don't care about these problems. I had fun. There's enough connections here.
I just
Cool.
love the characters enough.
Yeah. So I'm dreading the day that they fuck up enough for me to be like, God damn it. So I'm really hoping it's not Iron Fist because I like that character. So we'll see in 2 weeks' time if Iron Fist is broken me.
You're making your pre-Batman v Superman voice, Aiden.
Woo!
I know your pre-Batman v Superman voice.
Those reviews got me scared, Brett. They got me scared.
It's okay.
But I did see 2 positive ones, so it could still be fun. But we'll talk about some new stuff, and then the week after that, I think, I don't know, is either Ghost in the Shell or Power Rangers, which are another 2 things where I'm like, oh, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll get to them. It's
Yeah.
1 week at a time.
Yes. All right. If you like to burp like I do,
Love
you
to
can
burp.
tell us about it on Facebook.com/PCMR podcast or on Instagram @PCMR podcast. Sorry, I'm just burping all over the place. I had a big old drink in the theater. On Instagram @PCMR podcast or on Twitter @PCMR podcast. We also have our own personal Twitter accounts. I'm at Aiden's Vlog, AIDANSVLOG.
I'm at MeaMan125, motherfuckers.
We also have an email, PCMRpodcast@gmail.com. We have a website, PCMRpodcast.net. We're on YouTube and iTunes. You can find us there. I have a gig coming up in Canberra.
Oh,
It's
yes.
the Raw
State
Raw Comedy State
Finals.
Finals. It's on March 23rd at 8:30.
Congratulations,
Tickets
State
are at
Finals.
the Canberra Comedy Festival website. So yeah, you go buy tickets to that. Come see me. Maybe I'll win. Maybe I don't. I'm just happy to be involved. You know,
Yeah.
I like telling jokes.
Yeah.
They're pretty fun.
I've already said it, but I'll say it on air. Congratulations, getting through to state final.
Oh, thank
yeah.
you. Thank you very much. Yes.
My friends are talented.
Yes.
Gonna make the podcast popular when you get famous. I'm just
No one wants to listen to this. We'll make a new podcast. That's
Yeah.
funny this time.
Wherever you go, I'm gonna be on your coattails. Because you know it would be the other way around with
I'm
me.
bringing you with me, man. I'm bringing you with me.
No matter what, we're always going to be on each other's coattails, no matter who
Oh,
gets
yeah.
successful at whatever.
like-
Just the other one will kind of be there like, hi, guys.
I've already told Carl, like, if he ever does, like, a world tour with Sarah Lisa, it's like, hey, man, you're going to need a roadie. Or bring me with you.
That's a good thing about having creative friends. No matter what they do, you can be like, hey,
You need someone to
Include me.
carry your shit.
yeah,
Hello.
include me.
Yeah, include me. I know I'm not talented enough to be in a band, but I can carry a guitar. I'm good at that.
When
Sure.
you're a big comedian, I'll be your manager, which will basically mean when you do a like 75 date tour around New South Wales, I'll drive the car. That's what a manager is for a small Australian musician. Not a small Australian comedian. They drive the car when we go to fucking Whoop Whoop to perform at a pub for 15 people.
How you guys going? Fuck off! Yeah, me too, eh? All right, we'll catch you next week. We're big old news
Yes.
extravaganza.
Extravaganza.
Ganza. Bye.